If you want to really do well when it comes to dating and when it comes to women, you have to have self-discipline. You really have to master yourself first, and then you have to really understand women.
Psychologist, relationship coach,
therapist. Some of this has really been taking off lately online with your relationship expertise.
We have the return of Sadia. There's so many issues with dating in today's world. These discussions need to be had.
As soon as I land in the UK, I'm like, no wonder people stay with people they hate, because the alternative of being by yourself is also too difficult.
Can you still be friends with your ex?
Absolutely not.
Jay Shetty would disagree.
If you are a strong enough character, or if you've got a life worth living, you don't need to hold on to relationships that have run their course. And that's friendships and exes.
When it comes to relationships, of course, you will get that temptation, but you're in control of how much you expose yourself to that temptation.
My advice to men when it comes to attracting women and it comes to having a good relationship is just...
What's up, guys? Welcome back to First Things First. We have the return of Sadia.
Oh God, thank you so much for having me. I was saying to the guys as I was coming up, I was like, this is actually quite emotional for me, because when I first came on the show, I had like 2,000-3,000 followers, like nothing. And then I did your podcast and it just blew up after that. And I just didn't recognize my life after your podcast because I got so many others from there. So I'm very, very, very grateful to be back, and I'm very grateful for you as a person.
Yeah, that was I think it was the 10th episode.
Yeah, this time 2 years ago.
Yeah,
it was around this time 2 years ago we did our first episode.
So like, what's changed since then?
Everything, work-wise, everything, because it totally changed. I had no audience. I basically didn't have an audience, and I had never had a one-on-one conversation up until our podcast. And things that I was just saying that I thought were just like normal conversation kept going viral. Like literally every question and answer went viral, and I just didn't know what to do with what was going on. And then I had you in my ear being like, start a YouTube, start this, start that, this, that and the other. And now on like 900,000 YouTube subs and stuff like that, it's just all grew because you're like coaching me all the time. Do this, do this, do this. And all praise be to God, I'm now in a good position.
Fully deserved.
Thank you.
You know, it was annoying as well when there was all these other social media pages taking the content from that conversation, getting millions of views.
And
I was
we were there like beggars.
Not even getting credited.
We weren't getting tagged, we weren't getting anything, but it worked. And I managed to kind of, everything came from that one podcast, because then I had Chris Williams, and that created a whole new audience. And then from that, it just kept going elsewhere and elsewhere. So I'm very, very grateful. So I owe everything to Mr. Thurston. Thank you so much.
No problem. What I wanted to get into is basically, first of all, how you are dealing with the conflicting opinions that you get in your audience and comment sections when you're making these videos and posts.
It's so stressful because in my world, what I'm saying is common sense. Where I come from, where I'm saying is common sense, but more so than anything, I work with people all day, every day. So when I'm saying these things about masculinity, about how women think and how people, it's because I'm working with everybody. So when you're like a 24-year-old boy in his mum's basement having such a strong opinion about what happens in marriages, or when you're this old man that has never had a sexy woman ever in your life, and you're telling me about gold diggers, how would you know? So just trust me on this. And I'm not here to trigger you or upset you. I'm telling you because it's the truth. It's like, I'm not trying to upset anybody. So the intense reaction that I get from either really strong feminists or just really feminine men, that it just destabilizes me. And you know me, I'm so ratchet. I always have to say something back. I can never be a classy, mature person. Just be like, doesn't matter. I'm always like, no, fuck your mum.
I see you responding to people or calling people out or screenshotting what they've said, or like messaging.
And you know, so many people be like, is this your team? I'm like, no, this is my own fat fingers every day just doing it. So I need to stop. Because my problem is I'm such a confrontational person that I feel the need to debate when something's wrong or to justify my opinion. Not because I actually care what they're saying, but I care about the truth being put out there. So that's where my problem is. But I do need to, you know.
But the thing is, though, like, there's so many issues with dating in today's world. These discussions need to be had.
Yes.
You can't just kind of like tiptoe around these subjects. You have to kind of lay it out there, voice your opinion, and then kind of see what everybody else is saying.
And one of my main feedbacks that I get either from my clients or from people online is, why is nobody else talking about this? Or you sound a bit unique in this area, or how come no one else is talking about like escorts or this, that and the other? And it's because it's the world we live in now. What is the point of ignoring these things when it's happening so much? So yeah, I'm trying my best.
What are the taboo topics that people usually
get the most triggered about is still, for some reason, men assume women don't cheat. So when I talk about women cheating and what happens when women cheat, that seems to trigger a lot of people, men and women. And escorts, the use of escorts and pornography seems to trigger a lot of men and women, because it's something that's constantly happening, but nobody's talking about. And like, we all know about OnlyFans and all this stuff, but we're not talking about the men subscribing. We're still not really talking about that.
And you got to think how much. That was a great statement. How much money these OnlyFans girls are making.
Yeah.
And men complain about it, but it's like, hang on. Men are the reason that they frigging exist in the first place, and they're making that much money.
And you know, for every one Bonnie Blue, you know who she is? The one that slept with 1,000 men.
Yeah.
For every one OnlyFans model that is, let's say, you know, they want to say she's ran through to that. For every one, there's 1,000 men queuing up to sleep with her. 1,000 men waiting in line, waiting for one man to ejaculate so they can go and ejaculate. And then they want to call her names. And she's a millionaire at the end of that day. You're just a guy that was in a queue that had your pants down in front of another 1,000 men. So
did that actually happen in the end?
I hope not.
Because I didn't look. I saw that was getting a lot of traction on social media. I didn't go and investigate, but I was like, what the hell is... Why are we making these people famous?
I know there was one that had 100 men, and that definitely happened because I saw the documentary on that. Did you see Lily Phillips? She had 100 men, and that actually happened because you could see like the drain, how drained she was there. But yeah, generally, when you direct the traffic to them, the real cause of the problem, that's when I get the backlash. Yeah.
Is there anything that you've learned over the past 2 years from this kind of rise to fame and obviously dealing with more clients? I would imagine you probably get more, I don't know, the clients you work with that are like more important, have more money.
Yeah. The main thing I realize is as men have more money, their selection of women gets worse. They don't have the time to vet her correctly. They don't have the ability, and also they don't require much from her because they are so successful. Firstly, they don't have the time to, you know, spend all day, every day with her, getting to know her, getting to know her past. Usually men would meet girls that they went to school with or their friends knew or something. They don't really have that spare time. So they really just pick a woman and, you know, they don't get that chance to vet her correctly. They also pick women in environments that are more suited to their needs. Like, so maybe they're in expensive restaurants or expensive holidays. So they're with women in those environments a lot. Those women are totally different to women who are just in Starbucks or just in, you know, a regular shisha place or something like that. So they don't have the time to vet her. The other thing that they have is they don't require much from her because there's usually they've got a chef or maybe they've got somebody to clean the house. They've got everything that a woman would normally do for them. They've got all of that. So they only really require someone that sleeps with them. That's all they really end up requiring. They don't really have time for that emotional or social battery for all that emotional connection. So they end up selecting women who are only capable and good for one thing, really. And so when you see all these kind of like strippers and when you see all these escorts and they're marrying like Jeff Bezos's and they're marrying all these really successful men, it's because the only compartment left that they can't do for themselves is sexual. So that's usually the only skill she needs. So they end up going for the most promiscuous women. They don't need a chef. They don't need a woman that's great with kids. They don't need all of those things. They're like, okay, I haven't got time for all of that. I just need someone to sleep with at the end of the night. And then who is that? Usually a former escort or a former stripper. So these are the women that are accessing the most successful men.
Yeah, that's a...
Would you imagine that or no?
I can see how that's the case.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't expect a really successful guy to be with a promiscuous girl that has a bad track record because I don't know, maybe some guys are smart and I feel like they've got experience and they can just see like, no, this person is trash. But then there's others, usually those guys that have been so focused on work and have just been so obsessed with becoming successful and making more money, they actually don't have much experience with relationships. So when it comes to choosing a partner, they literally just end up making terrible choices.
And that is the key. I see men that can get women, even if they weren't a millionaire, they just have the looks or they don't have the appeal and they got lots of girls in school or in their 20s before they had the money. They can spot the difference between a woman that's worth this and a woman that's not. The man that's never had appeal and made a lot of money, he's the one that is most likely to go down this route. Yeah.
I've seen it, especially here in Dubai. Successful guys with endless amounts of money and the girls will just like get them.
If they didn't grow up getting women, they can get whatever.
And I just watch it, and I see how this woman is just literally just draining all of his money, burning all of his money. I mean, he's got enough to lose, but it's just like this. How can you allow this to happen?
And there's no, they actually enjoy it. Do you know what? Because those men that didn't have access to women, they start to believe that no woman actually wants them. So they think this is normal to just give her a lot and then she'll want you. Give her, keep giving her, and then she'll want to be with you forever. But it's the opposite. We actually want the person that we invest in, men and women. We want the person that we actually give to rather than we just take from. But the men that have the money without the experience of women don't realize that. So they lose all their appeal, which is where you get the Jeff Bezoses of the world. Yeah, that's what they end up like.
One thing which is quite interesting and admirable with you, over the past 2 years, you clearly keep your personal relationship and personal life off social media and your business pages, which I guess makes sense. Because if you are in a relationship and you are known for being a dating coach or a psychologist, everybody's going to be so judgmental of, first of all, who you choose as a partner and just observing how they behave and whether or not you're functioning well or maybe you're having fallouts. Because if they would probably, I would imagine, expect somebody like you to know everything and have the most perfect relationship ever, which I imagine is probably not the case.
Yeah, I mean, look, I could really monetize my relationship. I could really just put him on a podcast, go viral, and make a lot of money from it. And I know I could. And I've had a lot.
Would you let everybody know this is my partner?
He won't let that. I don't know why. I think it was. Well, I remember just like one day being like, oh, he was, because he knows I'm crazy. He's like, if one day if I'm out there and girls DM me or people just want to get under your skin and start just sending me stuff, you will blame me for that moment, which is very true. I would somehow find a way to blame him. So he said he knows that that's what was going to come with it. And also, it's not what he signed up for. It's not what he ever wanted or anything like that. And I think also part of me would be a little bit surprised if he did want to. I'd be a bit strange, like, because it's not the guy I know that I'd be like, why do you want to be online? And you know me, I'm possessive. So it's like, why do you want to be? Because the men that do go online and, couple content and stuff like that, I really do think the demise of that is because they're selling a dream that they're really good at being a husband. And then girls start DMing, and you always see these couples that do really well online. They start to...
What I've noticed is those ones that pose the most and give off this image that everything's perfect, it's usually the complete opposite. I've seen it before where there was this couple that would do all these outrageous things, like literally prepare these backdrops to take these romantic pictures and hold each other and kiss. And then in real life, they were literally never intimate together.
And because I have clients that are these couple content, they come to me and they say to me, we haven't had sex in 6 months. He won't touch me. He doesn't even like me, and this, that, and the other. And so they come to me with the truth. So it's the same like people who post a lot of money. There's something not quite adding up. So I think what I've done is been very private with it. I allow a lot of people to be like, oh, she's single and she's giving advice. I let them say what they need to say. And also I'm careful that it's true. Like, the moment you do, people expect you to be perfect. Nowhere near perfect, especially me, nowhere near perfect. So I think I try and avoid just exposing that part because I know they want it so bad.
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people don't understand is that they look at me and like, oh, how come I never see you with a partner? Like assuming that because I'm not posting anything, that means I'm not with somebody.
Yeah, but they must be so interested to know what kind of woman can tame Mike Tyson. Tell us, please. No, what would it take?
There is no magic formula.
Yeah.
It will, if somebody's going to get my interest and it gets to the point where I actually do develop some feelings for them.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's very unexpected.
Okay. Hi, I'm Sadia Khan, and you might know me as a leading dating coach in modern relationships today. I work with men every single day to help give them the blueprint of understanding relationships, women, attraction, and self-esteem. So if you are feeling stuck in your relationships and you want to unlock your full potential, work with me today by clicking on the link, and I look forward to hearing from you.